I've been a fan of Claire, also known as Clairo, and her music for years now. If you have not listened to Clairo's third studio album, titled Charm, I highly recommend doing so. This album in particular struck me in a completely different way. It has a sense of whimsicalness and soulfulness that makes you just want to reconnect with life again. It honestly made me think of the Frog and Toad series by Arno Labelle. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. He wrote and illustrated the series. My brain just made the connection between the two, and I think that's why I really did start to fall in love with this album. With most albums, I personally enjoy listening to them from beginning to end. Some songs I particularly loved on this album were Terrapin, Echo, and Glory of the Snow. I love this album because of the smooth, angelic sound and the way it can just transport you whilst listening. After months of tuning into this album and some research, I have come across two more reasons why I am just in love with this album. The first reason is because of the display of music history. Terrapin is by far my favorite on the album. I am just completely in love with it. The music video for it actually came out just about a month ago, I believe on February 6th, and it was directed by Ayo Edebiri, our Irish queen. I could honestly make a whole series of why I love that music video and how much I am in awe of Ayo Edebiri and her work as an actor and a director, but back to the track, Terrapin is just such a beautiful song. On TikTok, I came across a video on my For You page by the creator Lovey, who is a DJ based in New York. Lovey explains how the drumroll in Winter is Much Too Long by Chloe Martin is also heard in Terrapin by Clairo. Lovey also highlighted in her video how the song was featured on Clairo's NTS radio show back in January 2022. On top of that, the drumroll is also heard on the track Living in the Past by Unnatural Funk Band, which both of these songs have became part of my favorite song collection. I really enjoyed Lovey's analysis on this. She is a great creator. I highly recommend checking out her content. Another song I became absolutely obsessed with on this album was Glory of the Snow. Margot, a music-loving digital creator, interviewed Clairo and they talked more about this album Charm. Clairo explained how Glory of the Snow was heavily influenced by the Innovations cover of Seabird. And the Innovations cover of Seabird holds a special place in my heart. It truly transported me back to a summer in my childhood. I didn't know why I was just drawn into that song, but it makes so much sense now. I can definitely hear that influence, and yeah, I just really enjoyed this interview. Margot is a amazing journalist who has such a calming presence, and I highly recommend checking out her content as well. These connections added so much more depth to the album. For me personally, the connection to my memory made me reflect on my life, and I really love when music can do that. The second reason why I love this album so much was the overall whimsical aesthetic. I am a graphic designer, so when I saw the branding for this album, I immediately had to know who designed it because I was just in love with how it looked. From Clairo's Instagram, I found a few of the artists that were involved with the branding, and I'll kind of dive into two specific artists. Alright, so the first one is David Chatkis. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm so sorry if I butchered his last name, but he is a graphic designer and he did the calligraphy that says Clairo Charm, and I will put his work somewhere in this video because it was just so beautiful and I just love how it looks and how it connects, and I feel like they did such a good job designing exactly the message she was trying to convey in her album, and as a designer I just love to see that aspect. Another graphic designer I saw did a lot of assets for this album was James Runko. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced his last name. I was looking at more of James's work on his Instagram because he has so many other cool projects. One in particular that caught my eye was this calendar that he did. But overall, he is just a fantastic graphic designer. I think everyone who helped design the branding for this album is just fantastic, and it turned out amazing. All of the visual aspects, from the tour posters to the merch to the music videos, has been so captivating and honestly inspiring. Green is my favorite color, so already when I saw the album cover, I just knew that I was going to be in love with it. I think it just landed at the perfect time in music. The visual elements all felt so familiar in the best way possible. It kind of offered a sense of warmth and comfort. This album has been constantly playing in my house, at least, when I'm driving, when I'm walking, when I'm journaling. It is just something that I find so lovely and just so comforting. I also could not forget to mention the tour looks. Her outfits have been absolutely stunning. I'm obsessed with every single outfit that she's had on tour. And also the set design for her tour is just so vintage inspired. I think you can see that callback on her Instagram. Everything about this album feels so fresh and unique, but it also has so many vintage elements, and I also think it has a lot of callbacks to important genres in music. I will leave it at that because I probably will not shut up about it. I think that this album has displayed her artistic abilities and her talents beautifully. Charm seems to fully reflect Clairo, not saying her other studio albums do not, but this one just offers a completely new, intimate feel and perspective. I listen to and think about this album so much. It will forever hold a special place in my heart. It healed me in ways that I didn't even know existed. This is not to sound cheesy or whatever, but I really do appreciate Clairo and I appreciate this album so deeply. But thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this album as well. Bye!